Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to work on playing in even smaller sections, because you don't want to always just depend on just two huge sections. You want to focus in on little smaller areas because it gives you a little bit more control. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, I get this whole scale, I got to play all these notes. You can stake in a little small section and play around in that area a little bit. So let me show you what I'm talking about, and then we're going to do a little jam with it. So last section we did two different, it was octaves, lower section and then upper section. Now we're going to think in some of these areas in between. We're going to think in two string sections. So the first two string section would be these two strings. Then you simply have these two. Then these two. I'm going to come back to that one in a second. Then we got these two. And then these two. So there you go. We're going to jam on little small sections. Now I want to go back to this section right here in the middle, these two middle strings. Now what I like to do is add in this note up here. I like to think of this as a rectangle with our tail. Basically playing these and moving up to our 9th fret. And you can also bend, or you can just go to that note. So you have two string section, there's our middle one, little extra note back over here, two string section, and another two string section. So let me give you a demo of what you can do in the small little areas, and then we'll do another jam. So I'm going to stick on the backing track and I'll show you, give you some examples. So here's the first smaller area. Next, that section, I'm going to jam in that. Then you got the next section, that section. And you can borrow some of the notes from the other section. Now it's this section. And up the upper section. There you go. You got all those different sections. All those little different small sections that you can play in. And you're not pressured to move along into another section and all these extra notes, you know, moving around constantly. So what we want to do now is we're going to do a full-on jam with those. So you're going to have to keep an eye out. I'm going to try to be nice and slow and clear and not go too crazy with, you know, the licks and stuff. But keep an eye out on that. And yeah, so I guess let's just go ahead and go for it. Let's do a little improvising. Start in the lower section. next section. Okay, so did you see that at all, how I did that? I know I played a couple of quick licks. And by the way, those are runs. You can run right through a bunch of them and say, all right, I'm up in improvising a little in here. But now I want to get down to this section. You can go ahead and do a nice quick run through those. Even a little thing like that, whatever. These are sequences, by the way. Later on, you'll get into that kind of stuff, but or you can just simply go down nice and easy, you know. Say you're doing a little thing in this section. You don't have to play 100 miles an hour. Just go ahead, and you want to. It's called a run. You're running from one area to the next area, and then you're playing around in that small area. So again, just to review, 2-string sections. That is next one. Next one, then another one. So there you go. There's that. So what I want you to do here is begin by just taking a small little 2-string section and then improvising with that. Again, grab a backing track, either you know, something off of YouTube or anywhere you can find a backing track in the key of A minor. That's important, A minor. And try this out. Take one 2-string section, play around with that, get used to that. Take another 2-string section, play around with that, another 2-string section, and so on. Just really work those small little areas. And at first, it may be a little bit tricky because there's limited notes, so it's going to be hard to be creative with it. But that's good because it's going to really force you to really think about what you're doing instead of just running through the notes. If you just keep going back and forth, it's really quickly going to get boring sounding, and it'll take some time to get it to sound really good. But yeah, really work those small little areas, and that's one part of it. But then also go ahead and start mixing them up, and you can take like a couple different sections and go back and forth, and then pick another couple sections back and forth, and finally, as you get better and better, you can just start to just jump around, just keep going up and down the scale in 2-string sections, and you know, it's gonna sound a lot more interesting because, yeah, it just gives you a little bit different feel from lower strings to the higher strings. So yeah, work on that, and yeah, you should be in pretty good shape with that. So, yep. Get that down. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. And yep, otherwise we will see you in the next lesson.